got a special guest in the building, Victor Hicks. I'm gonna let him tell his story and who he is.
All right, this is my brother, number one. I'm a good friend, very good friend of their family.
Good family friend. I've been knowing you for quite some time, man.
Yeah.
I know Junior always talk highly of you. So how long you been knowing my brother?
Probably maybe over 30 years now. I met him through my cousins, who Eddie, Dwayne, and Bruce, who grew up with y'all on went to Lincoln.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, down there on 21st.
Yeah, 2020, 2209 floor.
Yes.
Off there off of I Street and everything.
Yes, where you said you had to be tough over there, boy.
Yeah, I had some rough times over there, boy. I think I was teased every day of my life over there. Either teased or bullied for something. But only the strong can make it out of that one.
Yeah. Well, hey, when I talk to all of y'all, man, it seemed like it made y'all strong, man.
Yeah.
Y'all some strong guys, man.
I appreciate you saying that too.
Y'all did real well, man. That's great.
Man. And you got a book out, and
Yes.
you a retired sheriff, right?
Deputy sheriff, yes.
Retired deputy sheriff, man. And this guy got a lot of stories, man. So what's been going on interesting in your life lately, man?
Well, big thing in my life lately is my daughter. She's 34. She finally had her first child. Her and her husband had their first child, and
Cool.
but she was born at 30 weeks, and so
That's premature.
yeah, really premature, and so she was like 2 pounds and 8 ounces or something, and then she lost 8 ounces, so now she's back up to 3 pounds. Pick up the 3 pound club.
So how long has she been in the hospital now, the baby? So I know
Since
when
she
they
was
preemies
born.
like that.
Since she was born, so that's like February 2nd, something like that.
So do they got like a timeline when she could be able to get out the hospital or whatnot?
They said that she should be out around her natural due date, which was in April.
Oh, okay, that makes perfect sense. When she's supposed to have been born anyway, huh?
Yes. But they say she can get out earlier if she continues to progress the way she is.
I bet she's real small, huh? She's probably
Yeah.
about that small.
Yeah, no, when my daughter was born, she was 6 pounds. I can hold her in one hand, so
Dang,
so
man.
2 pounds. And they won't let me see her, just her mom and dad. So
Yeah, they got so many strict rules now.
Right.
When you see the babies up there, because they don't want them getting all these viruses they get now.
right,
And their immune system is already compromised because they're not supposed to be in the world yet.
yeah, right, right.
So these elements and would kill them.
Right. So, but my daughter tells me that she's already regulating and running things. So
Cool.
that's an eight, man.
So let me see your book, man. You want
Okay.
to talk about this book?
Okay, my book is called The Crystal Stairway to Heaven, and the reason that book came about is I've had 2 near-death experiences. They call them NDEs, or near-death experiences,
For real?
where I've died and came back.
Oh man, you got to talk about
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I know it's a lot of things you want to talk about, but since you mentioned that, so what was your first near-death experience, and how did it happen?
Okay, I was 20 years old. I had this operation here. I was out of KU. It was a chronically infected gland.
Oh,
And they...
so that's up in here?
Yes, right here. And they were telling me that, if we're going to have the surgery and it's routine, and you'll be in and out, and we're going to keep you overnight, put you on a... what you call the IV with a antibiotic to combat any kind of infections that might happen. And so after the surgery, it went, well as far as I knew. And then they put me on the IV. But the second the IV got in my arm, I had a bad chest pain. And so I told the nurse, and she said, "Well, that's because the medication just came out of the refrigerator and it goes into your veins and it'll make it." I said, "Oh, okay, that makes sense and somewhat." So anyway, I had that hurt for a little bit, and so a little bit later, man, I was having
Heart attack?
no, a chest pain again. So the surgery was over around noon.
So how long they had you up under the knife? How many hours?
It didn't take long, maybe an hour or so. And I went in probably like 8 in the morning, and they prepped me and did all that stuff, and then so I was out by like noon up there, and they were putting that IV in me, and so I my chest was hurting, so like the second, third time I hit the button, and they come check me. Man, you all right? You young? You'll be okay. So about 10:40, I'll never forget it. At night, I was in the bed, in the hospital bed, and I was watching Nightline with Ted Koppel.
Mm-hmm.
And this was, let's see, I'm 60 now, so that's when I was 20. So that was 40 years ago.
Man, I bet you remember like it was yesterday.
Oh, I remember that. You remember every bit of that.
Oh yeah.
You can forget everything else. I don't remember what I ate this morning, but you remember that. But so I was watching Nightline with Ted Koppel, and all of a sudden, man, I had a really bad chest pain, man, like a sword with an elephant on it, man. I was gone. And I was up over my body, and I can see the blue rays from the TV on my body. I can still see Ted Koppel talking, and I was gone. And I was like, so I was thinking, okay, am I dreaming? But I knew I wasn't dreaming because I knew everything. I knew what Ted Koppel was thinking. I knew everything. And by the way, I never watched Nightline after that.
Yeah, that's a bad experience coming back to you if you did.
No, but so I was like, so I said, okay, God, am I dead? And so I said, God, help me. And I was back into my body, and so I pushed the button, and my doctor came in. His name was Dr. Hicks. I'll never forget Dr. Hicks. He had a cleft palate that had been fixed and stuff, and he wasn't usually there that time of night. But it's what he said. He said,
but that night he was there.
Yeah, he's like, what's going on, Vic? I said, man, I just had a chest pain, and I was telling him, I was going on like, hey man, I think I just died or something. I came out of my body. He said, what? He said, have you been? Your chest has been hurting? I said, yes. He said, have you tell the nurse? I said, I've been telling him all day. He said, and so he got cursing at me, get in there and get this effing IV out of, and so he took the IV out of me, and so when they got it out, he came back in and sat down and talked to me, told me, hey, I believe you, he said, I've been looking at some cardiologist stuff, how some people die and come back, he wanted to know about it, but I was freaking out, like, well, man, I was thinking I was gonna die, but I didn't, and but that was my first time. But I'm telling you, man, once you go to the other side, man, you ain't never the same, man.
Nah, I wouldn't imagine you would be. I never been over to the other side yet, but man.
So man, it kind of took me on a quest, man, because all I was thinking about was freaks and making money and all that kind of stuff until then, man. And I had a goal that I was gonna be a millionaire by the time I was like 23, and I was working on it. And so that changed my life. And so
I bet it did.
I said, but when I'm gonna back up a little bit. I was brought up in the church and stuff, and I saw a lot of foolishness in the church, as a lot of people do.
Oh yeah.
And so when I was like 16, I said, man, this is foolishness. I said, I'm gonna be serious. I'm gonna study something else. And maybe a Muslim, they serious about this stuff. Back then, wasn't nobody blowing up nothing. I wanted to be serious. So I didn't eat pork from the time I was 16 to the time that happened. I didn't eat no pork, and I changed my name to Amir and all that stuff. And but let me tell you something. When I said God saved me, I knew who saved me. I knew it was the God of the Bible. I knew it was the God that I knew as a child. And man, can't nobody tell me nothing about nothing but the Lord now. But Dr. Hicks asked me, could he get me something? I said, man, you can get me some bacon, dog. Like, you hear me?
So you went back to bacon that day?
You can get me some bacon, wrapped bacon. I want some bacon. You hear me? And so, so that was my first near-death experience. But then after the end, man, I said, well, listen, I still haven't been taught right. So what I'm gonna start doing is I'll start reading the Bible. So I start reading the Bible all the way through. I read it through like 4 or 5 times, and I read the New Testament through more than that. And then I took some studies. I took some Hebrew studies and all this stuff. And I got more and more religious, religious boy. Yeah, that's what you do, man, and get to judging people and stuff. And man, so life went on. Got married, my first marriage, and had 3 kids. And my wife left, got a divorce, bunch of child support, bunch of foolishness, you know. Then I had my second wife, got divorced. And a whole bunch of life, man, going on, man. And I got to the end of my life. Where I would fast forward to 2010, April 27, 2010, and this was my second near-death experience.
Yeah, I was about to say, this the second one?
Second near-death experience.
So do you think God's was trying to tell you something with the first and second, or it's
No. It was me. God gives you free will, and we don't realize that he's done it. He's let you have it, man, and you can believe him for what you want to believe. Well, most people choose like foolishness and slavery, and yeah. He said, "I'll put before you life and death. Choose life, blessing and cursing. Choose life." He tells you what the answer is, you know. But most people don't choose life; they choose cursing and
chaos.
Yes. So. Me, you know, I was my life was in chaos at this time. So man, if I go into it, we'd be here all day. But long story short, I decided to commit suicide.
Oh, for real? So what brought you to that point?
Man,
did something happen in your life?
Man, I was at my second marriage. My mother just died. I was kind of depressed anyway, all the way from the time I was 20 all the way on, because I was like, man, I know it's more than this, and I can't get to it. And
so you experienced depression early on in life.
Man, I was depressed, and then it made me a empath. You know, an empath, right? Empath is someone that feel other people's
energy.
Yeah, energy and their feelings, what they feel. And I can back up a little bit more. I was, let's see, when was this? Probably in maybe 85. I was living in Orlando, Florida with my sister. I was working at Pizza Hut. And we got robbed this night. Guy put a gun to our head and all this stuff. And nobody prayed. We prayed and everything, but nobody got killed. And so anyway, long story short, I got home that morning because we had to be there all night doing police reports. And so I was getting into bed and I prayed and I said, Father, I thank you that none of us were killed or anything tonight, because we could have easily been killed. Because those kids, man, they shot that gun. They could have easily just shot us. They showed they weren't scared to shoot. And I said, but there's a lot of people who got robbed and stuff tonight around the world who didn't make it. And I said, do you care? And when I said the word care, I was up over the earth, and the earth was spinning around. And I could, I was seeing these, I'd say pictures, but they wasn't pictures. It was like, they were real images. And it would be like a child starving to death. And I could feel it like God felt it. It was a pain so bad, there's no way on earth to describe it. And then it's like a woman getting, raped. And I saw that, man, and it was like all kind of injustice and thing. In every image, I could feel it like God felt it. It was so terrible, there's no words to describe it. And he said, that's how I feel it. He said, don't ever ask me, do I carry it? And I was back. And since then, I was a real empath, man. I can feel what people feel, man. You ain't no need you lying, talking about you like me and you don't. Because I know you, I can feel what you feel. Sometimes people drive past me, I know what they feeling. And so, and God brought me there. And so anyway, I was working as a deputy sheriff now at this time in my life, I was working up in Leavenworth at CCA. CCA is a U.S. Marshal hold, and I was a captain at the position of a captain there, and I was still a deputy sheriff at Wyandotte. I was a reserve there too, so I worked in and out of there, you know, when they needed help and that their outdoor functions and stuff like that still. And so April 27, 2010, man, I came to the end of my rope, man, and I took a bottle of Benadryl. I had just bought it from this surplus store up there in Leavenworth. And it was a bottle that had, I'll never forget, it had 500 Benadryl in it. And so I maybe had taken one or two, because at night I get stuffed up. And I take it when I get to sleep. I'll keep waking up, blowing my nose, and I'll keep waking up all night. And so, man, I took all those pills.
Man.
And I went to sleep, you hear me?
You went to sleep for real.
But before I went to sleep, I was getting ready to shoot myself. And God had said, and I was like, is this God or not? Because now you talk to me, and I've been trying to hear from you all this time. But he said, don't shoot yourself. You don't want your son to find you like this. Now, my son had come up to Leavenworth and was living with me, my oldest son. But he got mad at me and went to live with one of his friends. He ran away and lived with it. I hadn't seen him almost a month. And so I said, boy, I know it ain't God, but I won't shoot myself anyway, just in case it is. So I took those pills. And as soon as I took those pills, man, my son walked in the door. And,
that's a hell of a coincidence.
Yeah.
That's God all the way.
All the way. Yes, sir.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't take your life, man, because I know you've been doing amazing things since then.
Right. Well, that night, I was thirsty. It made me very thirsty. And so I said, son, can you give me some water? So he gave me a cup of water, and I couldn't take it. And so he called a 911, and they came and got me and stuff, and they were trying to ask me what I took and or what happened, what's going on. I wasn't telling them nothing. I was ready to go. And so, you know, they took me from Leavenworth all the way over to St. Luke's in Missouri. I don't know why. And over there in the plaza. And so on the way in the ambulance, man, I was gone. I could see. But I don't remember anything until I woke up. It was like 1 o'clock, and he said, okay, he's back, and my ex-wife was there. I was like, all right, this didn't go too well. I'm in hell, you know. When I saw my son with her, I said, oh, okay, my other son. I said, okay, I'm good. And so it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. So they said, okay, you'll be all right. And my daughter would take me home. He drove me up to Leavenworth. So I was like, man, this is bull crap, man. I can't even kill myself, man. You're right. And so, but I didn't remember what happened, but I just knew something had happened. I felt like I had been emptied out, hollowed out, man. When I woke up, I remember in the morning, I remember what happened. This is what happened. When I died, and because I was gone for like 8 hours, man. They had to bring me back. And so when I died, I saw the light. You know, they say you see the light. I didn't go through no tunnel. If I did, I don't remember it. But it was light. And this light was love at the same time. And there's so much light, so much love. There's no words to describe. No human words, not in my vocabulary. Nobody's vocabulary can describe it. The light and love at the same time. And I was expecting, well, maybe he's going to send me to hell. And he said, the first thing he said is, I have no condemnation for you. Now, those were even words that I would ever use. And I had to think about that. But he said, he's not condemning me. He said, I have no condemnation for you. And he said, your life is not yours to take. And I was like, I didn't say it. But these weren't in words. It's like spirit to spirit, like telepathy. But he said, and I was like, I was still thinking like, well, whosoever it is, take it. I'm tired, you know. And And he said, and so I'm saying like this was happening in a linear time fashion, but it was all happening at once and in a linear time fashion at the same time. It don't make sense, but that's how it is. There's no such thing as time with God because He's an eternity.
Yeah.
And that's where I was. And so the next thing I know, I was inside this light, and it's like being inside of a swimming pool under the water itself. When you're under the water, you know that it's you in that water. But I became one with that light and love, and I knew I was at home, and I did not want to leave.
Ain't that bad?
And then that's when he said, "Your life is not yours to take." And then I was standing there, and the light hit me from the top of my head, and when it hit the soles of my feet, that's when I woke up.
Man.
Yeah. And he said, "You let people know that I'm a loving father. I am doing everything I can to get people in, not wait for every time they make a mistake to exclude them." You know, and that's what the preaching and stuff has been, you know, and that's what I used to do, because I'm an ordained minister too. And I would, every time I get up there, man, they talk about the love of God, get over there. I'm talking about judgment and all that kind of stuff, you know. But God, He said, I love you. He said, and I sent my son to take those sins for you. You don't have to pay for them because you can't.
You can't.
We can't pay for them. He took them, and so that's what I've done like 4 or 5 podcasts, and I thank you for allowing me to be able to do it here, because he told me, you let people know that I'm a loving father. So anybody watching this, God is a loving father. He's on your side.
Yes, sir.
Yes, if you got a good father, I know you were talking about your son. Man, there's no pain like that when your son is hurting.
Yeah, I mean, you can't nobody can take that pain away, because it's like you suffering in his body while he's suffering.
Yes, sir.
I'm connected to that source. You know,
yes.
he's a part of me. So, like, not too long ago, he was in the hospital for about a week, last week. He went in Thursday and got out. I think it was, did he get out Monday? I think it was Monday he got out. And, you know, they took him off all his medicine so he can purposely have the seizures, so they can monitor the seizures to figure out which side of the brain that is coming on. And, you know, because, you know, already done had 3 brain surgeries already.
Wow.
And they trying to say it's coming from the scar tissue from the very last brain surgery he had, which was 9 hours. So, yeah, so they got him on medicine again, and we just wishing for the best. We're supposed to be going back up there the next 3 months, and they're talking about surgery again. And he don't want to go back through surgery again. I don't want him to go back through surgery again, because he had 3.
Pray about that today.
Yeah, I know. He had 3 strokes after the last surgery where he couldn't move his whole left side.
Oh my God.
And then not only that, his head was like the elephant, man. You know, imagine my head being this big and it blows up like that. That's how big his head was after that brain surgery. So.
Wow.
But forget about all that. We talking about you. This beautiful book.
But that's part of it, man. That's God. Now, if we can feel that love for our own children,
just imagine what the love
what that God has for us, because we really didn't make our children. You know, we did our little thing, you know, but we didn't really make them. He gave them to us, but He made us, and He made us. He is on our side. He loves us, and He feels what we feel, man. He hurts when we hurt, and He rejoices when we rejoice. So,
and I know God done saved him time and time again, man, because, you know, all the surgeries that he had, and he's still here. I just got to thank him for it.
Yes.
You know, I try not to complain about it, you know. I just thank God he's still here, even though he dealing with all the symptoms and all that stuff, because he takes such about almost 20 pills a day.
Wow.
So, you know, but God's still good. He's
Yes,
still
sir.
in the blessing business. Just like you ordained pastor, preacher, you know, I was in that field too. You know, deacon, preacher, and all that. So I know what you're talking about.
Right. I mean, I was doing all this. Yeah. But he told me, no, man, you let people know he's on your side. He's for you. He said, and I asked him, you know, before, I said, well, what about hell? He said, there is a hell, but he said, that's for those angels who rebelled and those who choose to follow him and follow him, you know. They make their decision, man, not to follow me.
Yeah.
And honor the sacrifice that the Son of God made for us.
Yeah, because it's only God and you got the devil or whatnot. You can only choose one or the other.
Right.
And choose wisely.
Yeah. And you don't have to know everything. Nobody knows everything.
Nah.
I know I don't.
Mm-mm.
I'm learning something every day.
Every single day. I learn more and more every day. Just like your near-death experiences, you know, you good friends with the family, and I never knew nothing about it.
Right.
Ain't nobody said nothing about it to me. So.
Now, Junior knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He ain't never said nothing about it.
Oh, yeah, he don't talk too much. You know, he pretty private. You know, he let you tell your own story. Yeah, that's my hero. That's my boy there.
Yeah, he's still going through it now today, man. But I've been praying for him, too.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about prayer is, you know, the person got to want to change itself.
Right.
Prayer doesn't work if the person don't want to change.
Yes,
but you still got to send that prayer up. You know, do your job by being a praying a man or a woman or whatnot. Still pray for those that don't want to pray for themselves.